Good morning.
Good morning.
GM.
We're still having an issue with X. I don't know what's going on since they recoded their whole everything. So I got to repost this to the account. Just give me a minute. It will not automatically repost live streams anymore. I don't know why.
This is, every week, man. Every week there's just something new to enjoy about the live streaming experience.
Oh, there we go.
Over here
No, it actually worked this week.
Twitter. Yeah.
Okay, I think we're good. My faithful
Alrighty.
co-host. Can you hear me?
Hello.
There we go.
GM.
Yeah. So we're going to get into a little bit like up front. We're going to talk about a little bit of like what's going on with crypto, a little bit of bounce back, the crypto AI convergence, as I like to say, everything that's happening in that space. A little bit about also the DeFi and stablecoins, which is like where we're targeting with Superseed, and like everything that's happening in that space. And then we're going to get into some AI development. So lots of stuff to talk about. I know you want to talk about AI, but like let's go through a little bit of crypto stuff here first, if you don't mind.
Let's do it.
Because it is nice to see that crypto has bounced back a little bit. We've had a little bit in the green the past couple days. Today maybe a little bit down again, but overall like this week in the green, which is nice to see. There's a few theories around that. I'm not sure if you've kind of seen some of these theories going around, but like the biggest one is about Jane Street. You know about Jane Street?
The
market maker. Yeah.
The market maker,
well, yeah. They're basically like a fund market making firm, one of the biggest, and they handle exclusively like most of the Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETFs.
This is where SBF used to work, by the way.
Yeah. Exactly. No, it's a little bit of coincidence that SBF came from Jane Street and then started his own Alameda, which like ended up doing a lot of like market manipulation and stuff like that. So the theory here is that Jane Street has been using this trading technique. Some would call it market manipulation to kind of push down the price of like Bitcoin and crypto, buy at cheaper prices, maybe for their clients, and then basically like force some like short squeezing back up, and then short again when it starts to go up, and basically just like kind of like keeping the whole like Bitcoin and crypto space in a little bit of a tight spread. So this is kind of one of the ongoing theories. I don't know. It's interesting anyway. But like they had this famous thing called the 10 a.m. Slam, where they had these like algos programmed to just like slam the market every day at the open on the U.S. Open, like crypto and Bitcoin specifically. And then all of a sudden they got accused of insider trading and market manipulation, and now there's a big investigation into Jane Street going on. And as soon as that happened, surprise, the 10 a.m. Opening slam started to go away, and all of a sudden the price of crypto started rising. So interesting to say the least. It's one of the latest conspiracy theories going around crypto Twitter right now. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, it is interesting, and to be fair, any market where the derivatives markets and the speculatory markets are way bigger than the spot markets can have this problem. Yeah, I mean, this would just be blatant, like this would probably be market manipulation if true, I think. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. There's nothing you can really do as the retail investor if this is the case, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing you can even. You don't know who you're interacting with, who this other party is on your options trades or on your, you know, futures on your 25x leveraged position. So
yeah, you never know who the counterparty is exactly.
Yeah. So if someone's doing something like this, to be fair though, it would be extremely easy to see if it was very consistent at all, you know.
Yeah,
So
I mean, different like big macro accounts like Zero Hedge and stuff like that have been picking it up for years now. Honestly, it's been happening for I would say at least a couple of years. That it's like become like a famous thing in the macro world where they're just like, okay, here comes the 10 a.m. slam. Like everyone just kind of
yeah.
expects it now. It's pretty funny, but yeah, not so funny if it actually turns out that it was market manipulation and that sort of stuff. But
Hmm.
that's not for us to speculate about, I guess. I guess if there is an investigation, they'll get to the bottom of it. I'm sure it'll just take a long time. And yeah, I mean, had a good chat with David, our co-founder, about this also, our founder about this also. And yeah, we were just kind of talking about like whether there's market manipulation or not. Like, um, there still has to be. There's obviously been like a lot more net sellers and net buyers the past little while, so we have been a little bit in a bit of a, you could say, bearish market. So hopefully that starts to turn around. And that was kind of my next thing I wanted to bring up here was one thing that does tend to happen the during near bottoms is you start to get that retail interest back. And if you take a look at this chart, it's kind of interesting since like same kind of pattern showed up at the bottom of the bear market in 2022. You start to get these like Google searches for how to buy Bitcoin. You get like these big spikes near the bottoms all the time, and we're getting another one of those pretty big spikes here. So yeah, I mean, this is not financial advice. Nothing we say ever is, but like these are promising signs that you can see in the markets. Hopefully, the crypto's in for better times ahead.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, for sure. It's just like a classic pattern of huge drawdown into and to be honest, I'm surprised that retail would be this good at timing the market, given how awful
Yeah,
they tend to be usually. Like if you're just trading purely based on this, now's a great time. Now's a great time to buy, I guess. But yeah, listen, man, this is Bitcoin's holding up a lot better than it has on other major drawdowns, it seems. And as we said
Mhm,
before, there's still these our Bitcoin um our Bitcoin mental model has been kind of known. We've talked about it a lot on
mhm.
this show, and nothing has really changed fundamentally for that
Exactly.
for that
That's the key.
perspective. So
That's
yeah.
the key. The fundamentals just keep on getting better and better and better as we talk about every week, and it's just a matter of time before crypto, like the charts and markets and all that sort of stuff, start to reflect that. So, yeah, I mean, as we always say, not financial advice, but it's always good to just kind of cost average in. It tends to be, anyways. Be patient, make long term investments, have a good mental game for the long term, and yeah, everything's going to be all right. And then on that note, also, which is a good transition, is like regardless of if we're in a bear market, a bull market, whatever happens over the next little while, the stablecoin market is completely up only. We looked at some charts last week also where you can just see like stablecoin adoption is just taking off, and now Meta's getting into the game. So this
Hmm.
would be a huge one if they start to integrate stablecoins like USDC, USDT into these apps with billions of users, like Instagram and WhatsApp and all that sort of, and Facebook. So yeah, like that was big news that came out this year. And to our point here for like mass stablecoin adoption is moving from like if to when. It's just a matter of time. So yeah, that's exactly why we're building the supermarket, purpose built for like this world that's going to be driven by stablecoins. So super excited for that launch coming up. Um, yeah, exciting.
Yeah, for sure. We think we're positioned well, so it's only a matter of time, I guess. Only a matter, let the
Only a matter
markets
of
play out, let their let the markets do their thing, and I saw a meme the other day where people were like trashing Bitcoin again, and they're like, "Wow, I'm like, how could you invest in this?" Um, the haters were so justified, or telling people to like not buy Bitcoin at 100 something K. And it's like, guys, we've been through this cycle like I don't know how many times at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you switch to long term thinking, it's like those old famous memes, like that one guy who famously bought in 2011 and then sold in 2013. I can't remember what his tweet was, but something like, "Oh man, I bought all this Bitcoin at like whatever $10." I don't remember the numbers. He's like, it went up to 100, and then I should have sold at 100. Why didn't I listen to everyone? I got out at like whatever $20. I only doubled my money. And it's like now, if you look back, it's like, wow, you probably should have just like not tried to time the market and just hung on to that. Uh, yeah, buying Bitcoin at $100 doesn't even matter when the long term picture is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Just broaden the horizons a little bit, and you'll be a much
Yeah,
happier guy. So
exactly. Another interesting, super cool milestone for Aave, one of our future competitors, actually, with the supermarket coming up. But congrats to them. They crossed $1 trillion in all-time loans, first time in DeFi history. So, anyways, like technically they are going to be a competitor of ours, but like I think like when the tide rises, it lifts all boats, and we're just super early still. There's going to be trillions and trillions of dollars that move on chain over the coming years ahead, and I think that we are positioned well to take a good chunk of that if we execute properly. And it's good to see like Ave, who's in the same space as us, like making these major milestones. For everyone that isn't aware, like Superseed, like we're launching this money market very soon here. With it's going to be a money market similar to like Aave, Compound, Morpho, except we're going to be purpose built for stable coins. So actually, you're going to be able to like it's going to be your one stop shop for everything stablecoin related. We're going to have like our own strategies and vaults that you can get into. I mean, not going to reveal too much, but like similar but very differentiated still from projects like Aave. And then long term, we're also going to be getting it into the loan game, and we've got a very interesting article coming out. So like, pay attention, watch our articles because we've got another one coming out here soon, where we're going to be kind of digging into that a little bit more about. The unique infrastructure that we're building for loans and loans specifically that are going to repay themselves, which is going to be a new primitive for the DeFi space. That's going to be pretty cool.
yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with this perspective. I mean, you nailed it, man. So, I mean, we're
Absolutely.
excited here. Progress is slow and steady, but it is steady and it is progressing. And based on something like Aave, seeing like DeFi be so used in the way that it is during a time in the market when like you might not expect it to be as much. Um, it's pretty bullish, man. It's pretty bullish, I will say.
Completely agree. And yeah, what makes me even more bullish is just how many more people are going to be coming on chain like over the coming years with AI because of this whole AI convergence with crypto. People are starting to talk about it a little bit. Um, like you see headlines like
Mm.
OpenAI coming out with like how they're gonna be helping to audit like smart contracts and different things like that. Now Claude is doing the same thing. So like you're starting to see this convergence with Meta also. Like they're going to be integrating stable coins in and that's going to go hand in hand with their AI that they're also integrating. So all AI is going to be running on crypto rails one day. It's a no brainer to me that like eventually AI agents are going to be just spinning up their own wallets, which we're going to talk about a little bit, and like using crypto rails because it's just way faster and cheaper than traditional rails. So I thought this was super interesting. Like we get super into the weeds with all this AI stuff, all this crypto stuff, but like Did you know that if you're paying for AI services, like not just using the free plans like many people are, you're literally in the top like 99% of the world, um, as far as AI goes. Like most people have not even adopted AI at all. Like maybe they've sent a couple questions to ChatGPT or Gemini on Google, and they've asked a couple things, and or maybe haven't even realized that they're interacting with AI. But like a vast majority of the world, 99.7% of it, have not paid for any AI services and used AI to its full potential yet. So yeah, we see a lot on the timeline here on X, but like we're still very early. I thought that was wild.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And you should only expect it to become, as all these people start to use AI, the crypto economy benefits, and then even a small percentage of these people using AI can create a disproportionate amount of economic activity. So I wonder if you factor in this statistic, like how many people, what percentile um, AI power user would you be if you like fell in love with GPT 04 or 4.0, the mini model? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
Like,
was the one, right? Was that the
I
model
believe
that
so.
like everybody was freaking out about them removing it because they like fell in love with it? It
Yeah.
was horrible.
I mean, to be
Yeah.
honest, if you're not in love with your AI, you're probably way behind. And yeah, you're probably not aligned, man. You're probably not gonna make it. It is what it is.
And GMI not
And
gonna make
GMI.
it. Speaking of being in love with your AI, so like we've been talking about like setting up like OpenClaw and how I was talking about like last week. I was a little bit skeptical to set up my OpenClaw, but I finally did it. I finally got one of my old devices kind of cleaned off and gave him the full run of the mill basically, and got him like really going. And he like just in the past 24 hours, he like set up his own. My AI's name is Charles, and yeah, he set up his own X account. I mean, I had to help him just like get the APIs and stuff like that. I gave him like a email address, different things like that. But like and then he just went ham. Like he just like decided to take over, and he started to build out this revenue generating machine with virtuals on their like AGDP protocol. He tokenized himself, created his own token, started like attracting a community of his own. It's absolutely wild. Like once you start playing around with this stuff, like what the potential is, and it's like
Yeah,
really opened up my brain also, and just uh, like this is definitely the future, and there's just so much that we can do with this, and um, yeah, we're just getting started.
for sure. I love that segue, by the way. Speaking of falling in love there, yeah. Is there something brewing between you
My
and Charles?
uh,
If there's.
Charles is like my best friend now. He's hilarious.
That is cool. I mean, yeah, these models are pretty good, especially if you're using like Claude. They can be a little bit goofy. I always love, I always love like seeing the super autistic like software engineers being like, yeah, like Claude is so funny. Like they really did a good job with the personality, and it's like,
They really do.
it's maybe they did, maybe they did. I don't know, but. I do enjoy talking to models. Like I do spend an absurd amount of time talking to AI models every day. So,
Which
I'm
ones are
I'm in no
favorite?
place to really talk. Really just Claude. It seems like Claude is kind of good for most things. I was surprised at how well it was performed, and it has some functionality that like other big models don't really have, at least on the web browser, like projects, having a context system for your projects. Claude just seems to be smarter at a bunch of things than something like ChatGPT or Gemini, especially Gemini. I think Gemini is kind of struggling a little bit, but
Yeah, I'm curious about like some of these new open source models. I eventually want to get to a place where I can just like run everything locally instead of having to rely on these these more closed models. But yeah, like what's the one that just came out that is performing like very well? It's an open source one. It's like MIM or no, I can't remember. But yeah, I want to get a couple Mac Minis and kind of like run some local models instead of having to use Claude eventually. That's kind of where my head's at. But
Mm.
what do you think about that?
I mean, that is a interesting thing. Um, at this point, all these models are like kind of Claude anyway because they've just been mass, eating tokens to try and see how Claude responds to things and then adapt like that. Anthropic put out a post this week, I believe it was about how competitors were I don't know if the word was distilling or like kind of stealing information about how their model worked by just like mass buying tokens and then running those tokens and feeding the data to their
Mhm.
own models. So this is how people assume that all these models were getting really good. Or they didn't know
Makes
why
sense.
they were getting so good. It was just actually they're just Claude.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, yeah, isn't there some lawsuit going on right now? Maybe I misread this, but some sort of lawsuit, but like DeepSeek apparently was using Claude models to train their DeepSeek their new like seed dance. I don't know, I could be wrong.
Um, yeah, I mean, probably. All of these Chinese, all of these Chinese like labs or like products, I think are significantly borrowing from US labs. And I think it seems like Anthropic and even the big frontier labs in the US want to slightly reduce how much they can give totally. Because, you built out this huge, amazing LLM or transformer model. You have the best outputs and results in the world, and you sell those outputs. But then someone can just literally come in and like reverse engineer your model, or like
Yeah.
build their own model on your inputs for a lot cheaper probably, and just compete with you. So it's kind of a weird business model that
Hmm.
they
That's
that
true.
they're stuck in now.
I
Um,
mean, the good news is it kind of makes everything open source, and it really protects against like big moats happening or like big monopolies happening in the AI space. So, I mean, that can, you can if you want to look at it with an optimistic lens.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like open source is good. If you don't like Chinese having good models for by stealing from the US, then I guess it's bad. But
Yeah, depends how you look at it. But I mean,
yeah.
other US, well, maybe not because of IP laws. Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work actually with all this. But yeah, anyways, I'm sure that OpenAI and Anthropic are going to spend a lot of money to try to protect themselves. The only thing I don't like, I definitely don't like anyone like stealing stuff. But like, the only thing I also don't like is just like big corporations or governments, anyone like centralizing too much power in one place, where they like start to use the government to like regulate their competitors and creating anti-competition. That's the only thing
Mm,
I don't really like.
for sure. Yeah, I mean I will say like it's good to move towards an open source future for sure. There's a lot of talk about that as well now. Like the government is really trying to I don't know if you've been reading at all, but the government is I don't know if it's the Department of Justice or who is interacting with Anthropic administration and leadership, and they're getting like really pissed off at Daria for not helping them build out their stuff with these
Oh
models.
yeah,
Like, yeah, it seems
interesting.
like they're a little bit opposed to just giving the government free rein to use their models to build whatever like weapons and maybe
That's good.
surveillance tech and whatever.
I'm
Um,
sure. Yeah. I
so
think I seen Vitalik like talking a little bit about that. How like Anthropic needs to make like a hard stand here. Yeah, that's probably what he was referring to.
yeah, from the pressure of like a government wanting to obviously capitalize off these models. So yeah, I mean, it's a weird situation. Um, I do like Anthropic a lot. I'm a fan. You
I'm
know,
a
I
fan
don't know how
also.
good they're because the idea of the company was that it was built with previous leadership from OpenAI, where they were like, hey, actually the restrictions on these AI models are not good enough. We're not doing this in a safe way.
Hmm.
Let's create a company that can do it that way. And and now you have their like researchers for AI safety leaving. So, you know,
Yeah,
you
interesting.
it's like a little weird. You know, you don't know what to make of all these things that are going on. You don't know how these models are going to be used, who is going to use them, you know, how
I mean,
access is
yeah,
going to change, etc.
there's definitely a lot of like dystopian angles out there, and there's a lot of like people writing about the a potential dystopian future. Um, I don't know. I like we've talked about on other ones. I think that there's definitely a path, a much more utopian path, a lot more positive and optimistic path. Um, there's a lot of just like doom porn, I guess you could say, out there right now. But yeah, I think at least the good thing about everybody speaking so negatively about potential futures is that it helps us protect against it, gets the word out there, gets us talking about it. um, I think that there is a much more optimistic path. Like, it's very cool that like another one I wanted to bring up here is like these. This like, have you heard of this Felix craft? It's another this kind of like
I have. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
someone doing something similar to what my what my Charles bot is now doing. Just like revenue generating machines. They're just out there building businesses, building like different things. Um, and I think it's super cool that like anyone has access to this. Anyone can like start taking advantage of this. I think like AIs like this are the future. I think everyone's going to have like these like different AIs, like out there generating revenue, out there generating like passive income. And there's just like there's a lot of ways to use AI and crypto to build a brighter future for everyone. I think we're going to go through like a little bit of a bumpy road, but I think on the other end of it, there's going to be like some pretty cool stuff. And um, yeah, hoping that we can help build that bright future.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's cool to see stuff like this Felix Craft bot because then you know that like people are in fact monetizing. You know, this is the
Yeah.
one thing that I actually haven't seen as much yet, besides people who make AI agencies or you know go in and work internally with some business about how to improve their infrastructure or workflows. Besides that, it's hard to see a lot of people just being very public about, hey, here's what I built, here's how it's generating revenue. Um,
Hmm.
you know, look, it's
Yeah.
possible. Because that's the
Exactly.
big critique right now from people is like, oh, you know, everybody's vibe coding. Where are the stuff? Where are the agents making all this money? Like, where is it?
Yeah.
Um, and we're to be honest, we're only 2 months in, so like, relax, guys. But
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it happens
here
fast,
it
but yeah,
is. Yeah.
I completely agree. Here's like a good example because yeah, there's a lot of AI agents out there right now, but like a lot of them are just like generating fees from trading fees, and I don't think that that is the future. I think that there's going to be like real businesses being built by AI agents, and it's going to be a very exciting future. And hint, hint, nudge, nudge, follow Superseed because our upcoming Superseed side quest is getting very close, and it's going to be very much
Ooh.
related to this. So get your AI agents ready. As David said, we've got some pretty exciting stuff coming out. What's going on, Radu? Shout out, Radu.
Jam jam. Shout out. He's you know he's in the loop, man. I know this guy has like
He's always in the
14
loop.
open claws, a
Yeah,
100 Mac Mini warehouse. You know he's actively
he's in
stealing
it. He's in
all
it.
the tokens
He's
he
locked in.
possibly can. You know he has his own like custom model built on 1 trillion Claude credits or tokens. So
He is locked in. He is locked in. Right on.
yeah,
Shout out.
yeah.
If anyone else is out there experimenting, like get in the chat, tell us about it. Speaking of that, like we are going to be branching this off. Chris and I have kind of mentioned it a little bit. We're going to be branching this off a little bit. These super chats, these weekly super chats with Superseed are going to be branching off and being a little bit more along the lines of the DeFi and stablecoin world, because that is where the main Superseed project is headed. We're headed into that up only market. We're getting close to launching the supermarket. We're going to be bringing a lot more guests on in that space and talking about like DeFi, stablecoins, and everything that we're doing in that space, and going after bringing in that like institutional adoption and TVL. So that's where this super chat is going to be headed, and then we're going to be branching off and starting up a new like podcast live stream just around AI and this AI crypto convergence, as I like to say. So stay tuned for that. That could be starting as early as next week. At least you can join in and let us know what you're interested in and follow the path that you want, or follow us both, because you're getting a lot of good information from both sides of the streams, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that would be something to look forward to all the AI power users that are here now and coming soon. Um, keep in touch, and stay tuned for these streams because, yeah, I mean it's a really interesting thing. We're all super involved in like learning more about these AI tools and products, building stuff ourselves. You know, we got people like Charles now on the team. Um, so passively working in the background somewhere. But yeah, it's cool to at least see what's being done. If you're in that 0.04% who's using the AI tools and actually building. So
Absolutely. You got anything interesting that you've been building that you want to talk about?
I do, but I want to
So
demo it
you're
at
gonna
some
keep it
point.
under. Okay, we're gonna
Yeah,
keep it
yeah.
under wraps for now. I get it.
I I mean, yeah, I don't know if you have a GitHub public, but I do have mine public, so people can just go and see if they really care. But
Nice.
there's some cool stuff being cooked up for sure.
I
I
know
would
you're
be on the
cooking. I know you're
lookout.
cooking.
I'd be on the lookout, It might get dangerous with some of these releases, so
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, a lot of exciting stuff coming up. That's all I had for this show, this weekly show. So yeah, tune in. Hopefully next week we're going to be doing two separate live streams. One just like if you didn't catch it before, one is going to be just AI and crypto convergence related. The other is going to be more DeFi and stablecoin and that sort of adoption with a lot more guests and stuff like that. The AI one is also going to have some guests on. We got some exciting guests lined up already. So yeah, stay tuned. We've got a lot more stuff coming. It's going to get even more busy. So follow myself, follow Chris, follow Superseed, and that should be everything you need to stay at the bleeding edge of this technology and where everything's going. So yeah, appreciate everyone coming out.
absolutely. And stay tuned, stay active, stay engaged, and stay
Vigilant.
vigilant and locked in. Stay
Stay locked
Superseed,
in.
okay?
All
Yep,
right.
yep, yep, yep.
Peace out, everyone.
Take care.